The thing about scientific research is that when a set of scientists or a scientist comes up with a research of some findings, a few years later somebody else will come along and completely negate what they have said because they will have some new up-to-date statistics and research. And such is one research that has come out from scientists regarding lifespan. Basically, you can't live the years more than what the scientists have revealed according to this study. The maximum years that you can live has been revealed now according to scientific research. So guess your maximum biological age. Research conducted in Netherlands has found that the maximum age for females that they can possibly ever live up to is 115.7 years, and for men it's slightly lower at 114.1 years. But even so, both of these ages are very long ages indeed. Average lifespan is one thing, whereas maximum life is another thing. Life expectancy is also different from lifespan and varies from one region to another depending upon which part of the world you're in and in terms of people's living standards as well. This research was concluded by scientists and statisticians at the Tilburg and Rotterdam's Erasmus University, who studied data from 75,000 people who have died in the Netherlands in the last 30 years. The study actually holds that on average people live longer, but the very oldest among us have not got older over the last 30 years. There's certainly some kind of a ceiling level here. Of course, the average life expectancy has increased. Nevertheless, the maximum ceiling level of that biological age has not increased. Just to make things clear, this is not about life expectancy according to the scientists, but lifespan, or the maximum biological age that any man or woman can live. But there seems to be a contradiction here, because the oldest person in the world who has ever lived was 122 years, but that's according to records being maintained of their date of birth and their date of death. And we know across the world, especially in the developing world, there's so many people whose dates of births are not recorded, and neither is their date of death. So really, this is not a empirical, totally complete research, which we can say is completely accurate. But also, as I mentioned, the life expectancy varies from one area to another depending upon living standards. With some people, if there's a lack of nutritional supplies like basic needs of water, food, then their lifespan will be severely affected and curtailed, no doubt. But one thing that scientists actually completely take out of the whole equation is the role of the Creator. At the end of the day, it's the Creator, the Almighty Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who decides when a person is born and when they die and how long should their lifespan be. Because in previous civilizations, as written in the Quran, the time of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, the time of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, people lived much longer lifespans than they have now. The time of Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, people used to live for hundreds of years. And there was a very famous story that Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam was going towards somewhere, and they saw this old woman sitting on besides a grave crying for her son. And when they asked whose grave this is, and she said, "This is my son who died. He was only 250 years old." And Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam mentioned that in future civilizations, there will be a time when the average lifespan of a person will be 60 to 70 years of age. And the old woman replied that if that was the case, if my life was so short, I would not lift my head from prostration to my Lord. Such is the short lifespan. And this is exactly the era that we are in now, that on average people's lifespans are 60, 70, 80. Very few people get to 90. And even those who do achieve that maximum lifespan, as according to the scientists, of 114.1 for the men and 115.7 for the ladies, ask yourself what sort of a quality of life will that person be leading? Because most people after 60, 70 years of age start complaining about declining health, aches, pains, ailments, illnesses. So what to say about a person who is 100 years old? I mean, the people that we know who have reached their 90s or near enough to 100, the quality of life is just basically not there, especially in the West. So one has to ask themselves whether truly they are desirous of reaching such a long lifespan. If the quality of life is not there, the question should be based on quality of life, which is free from illness, aches, pains, problems, and dependency on others. But the main thing is we undermine and we forget, especially these scientists, the role of the Almighty Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as regards to who lives, who dies, how long their lifespan should be. So the scientists are just basically doing guesswork.